sent this to me a few weeks ago, and the video itself, for the most part, was really compelling. At the very least, it was just interesting because. So
there's some crazy.
I discovered some Bill Hicks stuff later. Like I didn't follow when I was a kid because I was too young, and it wasn't like that wasn't on like my radar at all. I think he died in like 94 or something like that, 93, 94. But so the theory is basically that Alex Jones existed as a different person, and then there's a couple different theories. Right. Yeah, one that I went down earlier today was on another video where there is actually a younger looking guy, and then the same year there's this pudgy looking guy that like all of a sudden looks a lot like him but not quite. And that was where they I think it was in 96, that's where they said that
and they had the same best friend.
Hicks came in. Yeah, like, they share the same best friend.
There's all these little things that are like, wow, that's, I mean, even if it's not true, it's awful compelling.
Yeah. I'll play the first 3 minutes of this video, and then there's a couple time codes.
Hey everybody, ODD here. What's good? I wanted to dive into this Alex Jones Bill Hicks debate. I've been researching the idea that Alex Jones might be Bill Hicks, and I got to admit that at first I thought it was completely silly and I didn't want to go there, but I watched a fellow truth seekers video called Alex Jones is Bill Hicks 15 Proofs. It's by Taboo Conspiracy. Big shout out to him.
This is the one. That was the one I was looking at. I think.
So anyway, this video will probably receive quite a bit of hate because A, there's a coordinated attack on this information.
Did you know he's not in it for the likes?
I believe, and that's what it appears.
Is anybody?
B, there are tons of people brainwashed by InfoWars, and they think it's a legit source for truth.
InfoWars.
People who love Bill Hicks think that he would never do anything like this because he was a loose cannon. Luckily, I've never been here for the likes, so I don't really care. Anyway, some say that even if Alex Jones is Bill Hicks, it doesn't matter. I say, if Bill Hicks was recruited to assume the character of Alex Jones as the leading controlled opposition to the mainstream media, then I think that's a big deal. And let me say this, Bill Hicks, for what he was and what his work consisted of, I absolutely love him. He was a total badass, and I have all of his work, and I watch it every once in a while.
We have figured it out. Go back to bed, America. Your government has figured out how...
I like how he's like, I watch it. Like, you think he's going to say all the time, and he's like, every once in a while.
I cut back to it like old Hudds with George Carlin. And, what this guy.
How it all transpired. Go back to bed, America. Your government is in control again. Here's American Gladiators. Watch this. Shut up. Go back to bed, America. Here's American Gladiators. Here is 56 channels of it. Watch these pituitary retards bang their fucking skulls together and congratulate you on living in the land of freedom. Here you go, America. You are free to do as we tell you. You are free to do as we tell you.
I don't want to disrespect the man if he is dead, but I genuinely don't think so, and here's why. First off, they look identical. When comparing pictures of the two, you'd have to be blind not to see the similarities.
It is interesting, like watching these pictures.
Yeah.
There's a point here where he goes down this weird rabbit hole, then I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I know we all have doppelgangers, but these guys both grew up in the state of Texas and have the same teeth. Which is damn near an impossibility, especially when considering all of the other things they have in common.
Then I got another time code here. See if I can get to it.
When you click on AJ's bio, it has some interesting things.
Oh, fuck you.
Khalam
Ads.
Mustahil.
Read the top part here. I became familiar with Alex Jones in the early 90s when he had his first cable access show in Austin, Texas. Alex used to sit in front of a star map, and I had a hard time putting my finger on exactly what it was that Alex was talking about. I remember the very last time Bill Hicks came to Austin Access, spring of '93, we were working on a script called Public Access about a Rush Limbaugh type character who angers a viewer, and the viewer came to the station and killed the host on air. Bill's character was an abstract composite of various Access personalities, including Alex. Okay? It's basically saying that Bill Hicks was assuming a role that incorporated Alex Jones. That's pretty funny. Now let's just finish this paragraph. Bill actually watched Alex one day and said, "He has magnetism, but I can't tell where he's going." So Bill Hicks and Alex Jones have supposedly been in the same place at the same time. I would say on multiple occasions if Bill was utilizing Alex's personality for his Rush Limbaugh type character. And there's no photos that exist of the two together. You can find Bill Hicks with Kevin Booth. You can find Alex Jones with Kevin Booth, but not Bill and Alex. It's not incriminating on its own, but it's worth your consideration as we continue. Bill Hicks was working on a...
So...
Well, and what's interesting is both of those are concerning Waco, Texas, and the Branch Davidian siege. The left is when Bill Hicks was there, and then 2 years later they were doing a retrospective or something, used Alex Jones. And I don't know, man.
It's definitely compelling. Then, okay, I'll jump ahead again a little bit.
Take it to where you lose it. Because you had a point, you said you lose it. You're like, no, I don't.
Oh, I didn't even grab those time codes.
Oh,
just because they kind of he just kind of goes off into the weeds, and he's like, and also,
yeah,
and it's like
that's what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah,
and also, everything like, before.
No, just hit the facts.
Everything after that, and cut it because you're just.
If it starts to sound a little unbelievable, like a little bit far-fetched or out there, then like, okay, let's move on.
Well, and like Alex Jones looks the right age for what Bill Hicks would be, not what Alex
That's
Jones
what this next part
is. That what this is?
Oh, well, it's coming up. Yeah.
People say that Bill and Alex don't sound alike, but actually they do at times.
Oh, this part's...
Here's Bill Hicks.
You suck, buddy, you suck. I can yell at the comedian because I'm a drunk son. That gives me carte blanche. I got a cunt and I'm drunk. I can do anything I want. I don't have a cock. I can yell at performers because I'm a fucking idiot because I got a cunt.
That's another tangent I could love to go off on.
And here's Alex Jones.
You know what it's like to go to sleep every night knowing you work for a bunch of psychotic killers and you bastards are probably going to end up killing me one day? You know what it's like knowing you've ruined my life? You know what it's like, you sons of bitches? I'm tired of your crap. You commit evil, you're part of an evil system, and we're standing up against you. And the Republic is going to defeat you in the end.
I don't have a cock. I can yell at performers because I'm a fucking idiot. Because I gotta
go to sleep every night knowing you work for a bunch of psychotic killers and you bastards are probably going to end up killing me one day.
Bill Hicks as an entertainer could do lots of voices, I'm sure. Hell, here's Alex Jones showing you some of his.
Well, we're down here at the legendary Access Studios where Bill Hicks was interviewed by Lord Booth. Where Bill Hicks was interviewed by Lord Booth.
Get behind our troops out there in the Gulf. Road home for our boys comes back from Baghdad.
And here's the age difference.
This was the one for me.
Yeah.
No,
it really
that Bill Hicks is 12 years older than what his character.
One of the most common combos that people do.
Shut up, bro.
Character Alex Jones claims to be. That being said, let's play a little game.
Shall we?
How old is that man? 30 or 42?
He looks older than I do right now. I'm almost 40.
Yeah.
32 or 44. 35 or 47. 39 or 51.
Moving forward, Kevin Booth credits Bill Hicks and Alex Jones as the producer of his 2013 film, American Drug War 2.
We'll just keep it going.
On many occasions, Alex Jones talks about being Bill Hicks.
Yeah.
Yes, I am Bill Hicks. But to be more accurate, you didn't get it all, did you? You didn't get the full conspiracy. I played the character, Bill Hicks, for 15 years with my accomplice, Kevin Booth. And we fooled you all. The master actor, the master genius. Then I decided to bring forward an even more incredible persona, that of Alex Jones. The Queen of England's my mother. Oh, actually, that'll start a new conspiracy theory. Actually, Bill Hicks is my mother. No, the government, in an immaculate conception, climbed on top of my mother.
So there's an argument to be had that he's just having fun with the conspiracy theory piece of it with some of this stuff, but
mother, and that's how you got Alex Jones. I am the son of Obama, Bill Hicks. The whole world is a stage and each of us players upon it. I mean, as Bill Hicks, I know that better than most. Folks, I am Bill Hicks. And I'm sitting here looking at all this, and these people come up to me on the street and they go, hey Joe, said like 5 times. And then I try to think, I knew you were, I mean, not
Alex
Joe.
Jones. Alex.
Whatever
your fucking name is. Alex Jones.
All right, the programming's wearing out. So I want to just get this out of the way. I am Bill Hicks.
Has been.
So those are the clip. That's what I clipped.
Yeah. And there's,
I mean,
what was the
link, or just if you want to watch the whole thing, Bill Hicks to Alex Jones, creating the controlled opposition. Basically, this sent me down a rabbit hole about the controlled opposition stuff, and which kind of is how we landed here.
Yeah.
Today. But I pulled up some information on the one world government, and it goes into a lot of like real interesting details about history of the debate. Medieval Italian poet and philosopher Dante Alighieri offered the strongest argument in support of a one world government in The Banquet, 1304 to 1307. He supported the idea of an omnipotent ruler. Dante suggested that having attained all the power under the sun, a supreme ruler wouldn't wage war or engage in aggression because he's already in control. Because he possesses everything, the ruler would not desire to possess anything further, and thus he would hold kings contentedly within the borders of their kingdoms and keep peace among them. Does that seem feasible or plausible at all?
No, because I think that the people that fall under that, I've been into conspiracy theories for 25 years, at least since mid high school.
Yeah.
One of my favorite topics.
And I'm just starting to dip my toes.
The absolute favorite topic of mine is this. And, you hear things, a lot of them are anti-Semitic, a lot of them. And you have to sift through that shit to get to the stuff that seems like it's more real. Like the 13 families of the Illuminati, like that sort of thing. I don't know if that's what they call themselves, but that's what pop culture has labeled them as. The Rothschilds, the Astors, and on and on. And they really do own all the banks. The Rothschilds own all the banks. Like, it's not some conspiracy theory. They just do. Like, the big main banks, they're owned by them, the Carnegies, the Mellons, there's only a few families that run fucking everything. And I don't think, and I think Dante was wildly naive, thinking that someone who had everything would suddenly
be content, and he'd be like,
like,
now
because
I
they
can
don't, because
right.
I have some stuff. I don't have a lot of stuff, but I have some stuff, and you have some stuff. You've got a great fridge. The Rothschilds don't have that fridge,
right?
But maybe they want it, and if they did, they'd just come take it,
right?
But these people collect money. It's like the legends of dragons come from these people. Like they just want to make their hoard bigger,
right?
And the only way to not fall under that is to just try and perfect the space that you have.
Right. Well, see, I think his argument comes only from his own perception, like his own personal feelings. Right. Like if I had everything, I wouldn't want for anything more. And it's like, because there's a certain point where I'm going to be like, oh, I'm content, and I'm pretty content now. I'm satisfied. Like me personally, like I don't need to, but everybody has different drives. There's people that need to go and try to pursue like higher office, to be in control of things. And so it's illogical to think that if one person has all the power that they're going to do good with it.
And these people are conditioned from childhood to be greedy.
Yeah.
Greedy for whatever it is that they're after. And it's most cases it's money, but sometimes, and money becomes power, but like normal people will become content after a time once they hit a certain point. And I think based on studies, it's somewhere around about $73,000 a year in America. You can be comfortable and content, and you don't need to climb any higher to get any happier unless you've got that drive. And the type of people who have that drive are the type of people who need to be in power in every situation they're in. And they cannot feel weakness.
Right.
Which is why the people who are predatory end up moving higher. Because when you're predatory, you can't handle feeling weak. And so those people with those predatory predilections move up because they want to be president. And somebody said,
yeah, it takes a bit of a monster to want to pursue something like that. I don't think there's anybody out there today that wants to do it for the good of the people.
No, everybody wants to further their shit. I mean, look at Maxine Waters.
It's all agenda based.
Look at her. Look at the section of California that she represents, and it's just trash. It's homeless people in rundown buildings, and she doesn't live there. She lives off in Beverly Hills. She just represents and has a building there. So she has a building where she keeps an apartment or something so she can be the representative of that district. Or when Hillary Clinton was moved or bought a place in New York so she could run for Senate in New York. It's the same thing. These people want to be in charge, and that's what they want. And there's a part of me who's like, what the fuck does it matter?
Yeah.
Like it's not really affecting me. And it won't. As long as I stay out of the big cities, as long as I keep to my own little area, whatever.
Yeah, I think there needs to be some kind of government, but not the kind that we have today currently. I think there's a broken
it's definitely
system
busted
in place. And but there's just so much of a content nature to it that nobody is willing to. There won't be an uprising, not in our lifetime.
Well, like what Bill was saying. I mean, there's an uprising going on right now. Half of Portland was on fire. Well, if it's to be believed. I mean, You've got people saying there's nothing going on, and you've got people saying like, oh God, the fucking secret police are stealing people because they're vandalizing too close to a federal building. And like,
it will be a long time before there's anything like a meaningful one, though. We're too fractured. We're too fractured as a country.
There'll be uprisings, but no revolution.
Right.
Yeah.
And even the history of the revolution, and I haven't delved that much into it, but even the history of the revolution is painted in a light that isn't exactly.
It's not true.
Accurate.
No.
It's like. We got our freedom. No,
founding father idolatry is just as bad as Trump and Biden and Democrat and Republican idolatry. They're just as bad. There's a reason that those 10 commandments are in the Bible, whether you believe in God or not. Those are good things to live by, because if you start bowing down to some golden calf, there's going to be a problem. Whether it's fandom, oh, I'm a Trekkie. Oh, I like wrestling. Oh, I love Marvel movies. Marvel movies are the best thing ever. I follow every comic book.
You can't walk lockstep with anything. Because what happens, and that's the biggest problem. Like, don't become a big like uber fan of like us or anything. I don't become a fan of anything like extremely like hardcore. I get like, I'll enjoy something, but I'll also like keep it at a distance, because it's like I like Jason Bateman a lot.
Yeah.
But what if tomorrow something came out about Jason Bateman?
Yeah.
That like, what if he was a kid diddler? Then all of a sudden, then I've got all this like Jason Bateman love I've poured onto everybody.
Bill Cosby kind of accusation.
And then I have to fucking go to bat for him.
Then this whole section of my identity is assaulted and assailed, and I'm off.
Right.
And what am I going to do to fill that hole? What am I going to do? And it comes down to people will find this thing. They'll build it up. It'll take this huge chunk of their whole existence, their whole identity.
Their identity relies on it.
And right
Kevin
now,
Smith fans, is an example. I'm a Kevin Smith fan, but not to the point where.
But not like where
I don't shower and bathe.
Like I find him personally reprehensible. I don't like his attitude. I don't like the way he talks about things. I just don't like the guy.
Right.
But I like his movies.
Well, see, and I'm not going to sit here and fight with you about, like, I'm not going to try to convince you to like him.
Yeah.
That's
but
absurd.
Like Mallrats is fantastic.
Fans, Mallrats is.
I'll watch Mallrats
phenomenal.
Anytime it comes across. I'll be like, oh yeah. Or Zack and Miri Make a Porno. That movie is fun. Fucking start to finish.
Yeah.
It's fun. And his movies are fun, with the exception of like Cop Out. He's got a pretty solid filmography that I've seen.
And Cop Out, I'll give him a pass because it was
he didn't get along with
Bruce Willis. Apparently they've mended fences, but it was also like he didn't write the script. That wasn't his bait. Like he didn't.
That makes a lot of sense.
This was one of the first things he came in on cold.
Oh.
But then he's like went and directed like CW shows. Like he's done a bunch of Supergirls and shit like that. But
yeah, that show was good until late season 2, early season 3, when they just, again, another thing. And this wraps up two of the points I was making. One, when some single thing becomes so much of your identity that it's the only thing you can talk about, your sexuality, your race, your being a parent, drinking, those dudes in high school that were all about pot all the time. Like that was their whole existence, was this plant. Mm-hmm. And I still have,
and they hold on to that through their 20s, 30s. And then it comes a point where it's like,
do you never move past
how old are you? Like, it's like, where can this conversation go? Can it go any further? Because all I hear now
is pot
is just a pothead.
And
I get your advocacy.
Yeah, because I believe in it. I think it should be legal in all 50 states, and
right.
I think that people should be able to use it medicinally. I think it's a great way to calm your nerves, and if you can be responsible and do that, fine. But if it's your only thing,
if it's your fucking lifeline,
then you are not worth knowing. It's like the people whose sexuality is the only thing about them, the only thing, or veganism or CrossFit. Like these people grab these things and it's, oh God, I'm such a fucking useless person that I have to hold my whole identity in this one thing. Mothers are that way. You see a lot of mothers, they
especially first-time moms.
Yeah,
like if they're having their one kid, and oh man,
and then they shift into this. Oh,
and they act like they're the only one that's had a kid.
Right? Like no, half the population has had a kid. I will never have a kid. That's a good Joe Rogan joke, though. One of his stand-up bits about women wanting power. Like, you already have half of everything. You have all the people. You make all the people.
Yeah, no shit.
Fantastic. But anyway, and so there's that. But then that is something that can be used to manipulate people. And, like people who their only identifier is their race, nothing else. Or feminists, they don't even care about women. They just identify with feminism and they want female empowerment, but not that one, not that woman.
She's a bitch.
She's a bitch. Don't give Karen anything.
Karen.
And all of that stuff, they use that. Because if we're fighting amongst ourselves, because it really is the rich versus the poor. There's no other separation that matters. I don't care what your race is. I don't care what your gender is. You can be a fucking dragon pixie for all I care and only want to fuck horses. I don't care. As long as, 1, I don't have to see that shit. 2, have to hear about that shit. And 3,
just let me go on my hikes. Let me do my thing. Let me do what I want to do.
As long as you provide some benefit to the community.
And don't hinder anything that I'm doing.
Speaking of, I will never be able to run for office because of this podcast right here. Not any other episode, but this one. I've said entirely too many things. I've had entirely too many opinions, but